All right, y'all, so let's talk about this. So, I'm going to tell you why TNA will always have an uphill battle. And why, as far as them becoming so-called number 2, will also could easily be the demise of TNA. Now, if you're a half-wit, you won't understand nothing I'm getting ready to say. Nothing I'm getting ready to say is complex, it's just common sense. But only those who are down to earth and real, you'll get it. As long as there's an AEW and a WWE, TNA will always have an uphill battle. For one, there's only 2 powerhouse companies, okay, in America, and that's AEW and WWE. So even with ups and downs, or neither company having the highest ratings of what they've already had. Good night. The growing pains of a company, the ups and downs. There's still leaps and bounds over TNA, NWA, the Juggalos and anything else that's out there. In America, understand something, right? Understand. In America, when you look at the viewing audience in America, okay, alone, when you look at the buildings that they're in and how, who's showing up, it's going to be difficult to have a 3rd powerhouse company, a 4th, 5th powerhouse company. It's like 2 powerhouses are even rare at this time, okay? But 2 powerhouse companies, and then you have other companies that, you're not going to get no multi-million-dollar contracts at TNA, NWA, JCW. You're not getting that at those companies. So they're always going to have that problem. And people don't want to be real, but look, first of all, when it comes time to sign contracts, okay, and somebody's offering you multi-millions of dollars versus maybe $250,000 a year, who the hell do you think is going to turn out multi-millions of dollars? So what ends up happening is this: when it comes to a bidding war, TNA is not even in the ballpark. NWA, JCW, or any other company, that none of them. So pretty much TNA would be the 3rd option. But you see, these fools are trying to talk to you and make you think that, it's a toss-up, between them and AEW. No, there's no toss-up. They're nowhere near close to what AEW is. First of all, Tony Khan has more up his sleeve than people really understand. And the machine that's behind AEW, let's understand, they have a machine behind them as well, okay? They are about wrestling, and they have respect, regardless to the haters. They have respect. This is why. And you know who they're respected by? They're respected by their fans. And obviously Sports Illustrated. And other people see and understand, they know this company is for real. But it's just this stigma that people have hanging over their own heads, that it's only supposed to be the WWE, though, as a powerhouse company. This has been something that's been plaguing pro wrestling for the longest. But these slaves will tell you differently. Oh man, it all comes down to WWE. I saw a thumbnail today. I didn't watch the video, but here we go again. Someone said on the thumbnail, it said WWE Unreal is destroying pro wrestling. No, it's not. It's destroying WWE. Nothing that happens to WWE affects how I see AEW or any other company. What happens to any company is that company. But that's the foolish fucking way that people think. For pro wrestling to survive, we need WWE. No, that's bullshit. That's bullshit, and that's what they want you to believe. It's almost, it's like this. It's a lot like this. You guys remember years ago, Eddie Murphy made a song called Party All the Time with Rick James? And people wasn't taking it serious because but it's Eddie Murphy. He's funny, man. He can't sing. Then they heard the song and went, get the fuck out of here. That's not Eddie Murphy. No, right? But then people were still going, but he's a comedian. Like, okay, did you hear the song? Yeah. Did you like the song? Yeah. Did Eddie Murphy hold his own with the vocals? Yeah, so why are you wrestling with your own thoughts? Right now, you go and look at reaction videos and people are going, come on, man, this is Eddie Murphy. I know it's silly. I know it's silly. And then they listen and they're like, what the fuck? Eddie Murphy said, like, because people put limitations on you. I didn't know there was a rule that said if you were a singer, a comedian, you couldn't be a singer. Or, I mean, look, case in point, it's the same mentality of, but he's a comedian. He's not supposed to be able to sing. We're not supposed to look at Eddie Murphy and go, damn, dude can sing. Hey, I like this song. Somebody even remix party all the time. Now they go, oh, wait a minute. I didn't know. Wait, so this is the original. Yo, this shit is a banger. Yo, Eddie. Yo, I got new respect for Eddie. Like, now they're learning something that we already knew. This is the same fucking mentality in pro wrestling. There's not supposed to be another company that can pay people multi-millions of dollars. There's not supposed to be an alternative. There's not supposed to be real competition. Do you guys think if Triple H doesn't want any one wrestler to become bigger than the company, do you think he wants another company to become as big as the company he's with? No, we'll let them get big enough. Hopefully, we'll try to get them to the point where they are a threat to AEW so we can breathe easier. That's not going to help them either. This plan is going to backfire big time. If TNA cannot produce wrestlers, if they cannot produce production, if they cannot give you quality, if they cannot give you wrestlers that's on equal grounds, where you can look at guys in TNA and say, imagine him versus Kenny Omega. Imagine this guy versus Roman Reigns. No. This is why there's still a Tinker Toy company. That's it. Here's the problem. You can watch JCW. You can watch ACW. There's many other companies you can watch and they can have some banging matches. Way better than the shit TNA is giving you. The only difference is TNA has the WWE as a crutch. And we can all see who's calling the shots. So they're always going to have an uphill battle. Even if AEW, let's say if AEW went away, right? What does TNA have that everybody's just going to start watching? You think all of AEW fans is going to start watching TNA all of a sudden? No, if TNA was hot, they'd be watching it now. Now, let's say if WWE went away. How does that affect AEW? Who is it going to affect? It's TNA. So even with WWE being here, TNA's position, like I told you in my last two videos, is we're not going to let you get big enough to become a threat to us. And the problem is TNA has settled for not being number one. What does that do for the ego of WWE and the confidence of WWE? They know that they're a Tinker Toy company. They're not worried about them. One thing you've never seen under Vince McMahon Jr. and anybody after him is WWE do business with a company that's just as powerful as them, or almost as powerful as them. You don't see that shit. You don't see that. So them acquiring, they can't buy AEW. Tony Khan is not selling AEW. They bought AAA. Okay, they bought AAA. It's a difference. Tony Khan is doing business. Okay, doing business with CMLL and other companies. I remember Tony Khan told a story, and people know that I guess it's Anthem or whoever it was. They were trying to sell TNA to Tony Khan. They wanted Tony Khan to buy TNA. Okay, Tony Khan didn't say anything to like try to like step on TNA or anything, but Tony Khan knew that what happened with TNA, and this is what you guys don't understand. He understood the predicament that they were in, and he knew for me to buy TNA, I have to redo so much, and I'm not sure if I can. So I don't want to go and invest in something that's already tainted, right? And I'd have to like rebuild from scratch. They would have been in much better hands with TNA with Tony Khan, and I think he, looking at what he's done with AEW, that he could have pulled it off. We'll never know, and it's irrelevant. But the partnership, right, was to, hey, let's get these guys, in a position where people are talking about them, they're watching it, right? And I remember when they talked about it, different channels, and they talked about how the viewership had went up in TNA due to that. But again, this wasn't, let's go in there and first of all, you got to understand, once again, TNA has no fucking superstars. They have no wrestlers that is like a big deal. But you saw Kenny Omega have a banger of a match. You saw Christian Cage get involved. You saw, Kazarian get the belt from Christian Cage. So you seen, the thing is, it was like, let's give a spark to TNA. And this was like, hey, let's do some business together. Right? And they did what they did. You see, it's obvious TNA was looking for this kind of partnership, like what they have with WWE, to be carried. The problem was not anything that they did with AEW. The problem was nothing like, Tony Khan embarrassed. No, the problem is on their own, they give you a half-ass product. One thing TNA had going for it is that they were known for giving you great wrestling matches. But now that your wrestlers are being pinned simultaneously by fucking developmental wrestlers, who's taking them serious? TNA is that company that you watch when nothing else is on. And that's a problem. That's a problem. And that's why only 173,000 people decided to check out what their show did. Now, if those numbers decrease tonight, then what? If they're not able to at least sustain that 173,000, right? That would be a better sign than losing. What if it goes down? What if they do 150,000 tonight? What if? What happened last week that's going to make people want to tune in this week? I mean, you got to look at that. You have to look at that. So I don't understand how people don't see how simple this is. They're not competition. There's nothing for anybody to worry about. You think Vince Russo is going, oh man, TNA, no, he's not worried about them. He's running his mouth about WWE because he knows, once again, the more shit he talks, people are going to pay attention to what he's saying. He's hoping that translates into them watching JCW. The problem with Vince Russo too is he does way too much talk about WWE and AEW and TNA, and he does very little talk about JCW, which is where he's employed, and I just don't understand that shit. But at the end of the day, if you don't feel like you feel like they'll listen to you when you're talking about AEW, WWE, and TNA, like that's gonna make people watch your show, but somehow you don't think that they're gonna tune in to watch JCW if you talk about JCW, that way of thinking is foolish. But I can tell you something about what Vince Russo and anybody else that has some sense, they do what they do know is that TNA is weak. They're weak and they're making no strides on their own. Therefore, it's up for grabs when it comes to like if a wrestler is let go from NWA or JCW, just say for example, who the fuck do you think is gonna run to TNA first? They'll all hope that they get picked up by AEW or WWE. TNA is like, okay, well, we'll go there. But case in point, going to TNA is no different really from going to NWA or JCW, because basically you're a part of a show that the structure of TNA is all over the place. There is no structure. The way the segments are done, the way everything, the interview, like everything is just like a low budget ripoff of Raw. Therefore, when you're watching this show and you're seeing all of these wrestlers that you've seen get pinned 1,000 times, they go over to the other independents and they get pinned over there. So there's nothing about these people that's really special. They don't have a good balance of faces and heels. The faces don't stand out. Nobody cares about what these guys are doing. So therefore, when you're being told that they could be number 2, like when the fuck are you guys gonna stop listening to Eric Bischoff and his bullshit? Eric Bischoff just runs his mouth. Him and Vince Russo got that in common. They like to try to create controversy and chaos with their words. Let's get the people talking, even if they're calling us assholes. It doesn't matter. As long as they're watching us, that's what they want. And the truth of the matter is, right, at least for Vince Russo, he is back in the loop of JCW. Eric Bischoff just runs his mouth. He spent 98% of 2025 talking about AEW. Okay? I thought the show was called 83 Weeks. Yeah, and he finds himself talking about the company he claims sucks so much. Whole time he was glazing the WWE. And then what happened? Those ratings plummeted. And everybody else started jumping on that shit. Okay? Now we have to, we'll look completely stupid, even though Bully Ray, this big bald-headed motherfucker, he still finds a way to glaze these. See, anywhere they're cutting the check from, that's what I'm telling you. They show bias. I was watching this guy one day, Conrad. He's talking to Jeff Jarrett, right? Jeff Jarrett is employed by AEW. But Jeff Jarrett plays neutral a lot. This is what people are failing to understand. When you give people power, and you simply do that by giving them too much respect, okay? Thanos is already a bitch to beat without the Infinity Stones. Don't give him the fucking Infinity Stones. Because now it's next to impossible to beat this motherfucker, right? All of these companies, even for people that talk about how much they love AEW, they dance on eggshells with what they say about the WWE instead of just being straight up honest. MJF, right? I read an article today where in this article they were talking about, I don't understand all this AEW hate, right? So I'm reading this article, and the article is from an interview. I don't remember who the fuck was being interviewed, but the person in the interview brought up the comments of MJF, right? And then they tied it into Bron Breakker's comments. Bron Breakker got upset when he, went in and did the job for CM Punk. And he said, man, this is our time. We got 80-year-old wrestlers in here, man, but us young guys are here, and the opportunities are being taken from us, okay? MJF said the same thing, man. He's like, these guys are talking all of this, you know. He's like, the WWE is talking all of this stuff about their talent and how great these young talents are, but everybody hold the belt over there, everybody doing anything over there in the spotlight are old people. And he's right. He is 1,000% right. We've said this a long time ago. Remember, I made the video, I told you. It's like you got to be in the 40 and up club to win a title. Everybody, even if you talk about Roman Reigns is 40 and up. If you're talking about LA Knight, he's 40 and up, but they fucked him over. They destroy. LA Knight is done. There's nothing that he can start doing now that's going to mean anything, because they should have let him do this. LA Knight is long overdue, man. LA Knight is a guy, but you know, I got to blame these guys for sticking it out, going to WWE and staying loyal to a company that's been doing nothing but fucking you over. So obviously they like the money, but LA Knight has been destroyed. The only way to rebuild LA Knight is he leave and not go to no bullshit TNA, but he need a company like AEW. And they're the only ones that could restore everything that WWE already ripped to shreds. And the fans would know it. The fans would look forward to it. Just like Karrion Kross. If he came to AEW, it would be, oh shit, right? Because they completely fucked him over. This is what the WWE does. They don't want you to get to the point where you are like a megastar. Because again, when things go wrong, you could always say, fuck this. Hey, Tony Khan, I'm interested in talking business. Hey, and they don't want that. They know you're not going to leave for TNA. You know that saying, keep your enemies close, keep your friends close, your enemies closer, right? Yeah, let's take this little Tinker Toy company and keep them here. Let's chuck them under our armpits, because we're going to use them to take talent from them, who we see potential in. But that doesn't mean that they're going to do the right thing once they get them there. The increase in salary is what get them. And you get there, and then what? Then we'll figure out the rest. You think Jordan Grace is happy with how she's been treated? Think again. Now you look at all of this shit that they've done. That's one of the things that the AEW, the wrestling audience, appreciates too with AEW, because they see how certain people got fucked over in WWE. But then they came to AEW and it's like, hey, now they're being treated the way they're supposed to. And they're out here performing and putting on great matches. It's not like, oh, let's just take them and be nice to them and give them this and that. No, they got to go out there and perform and entertain and give these fans their money's worth. Now, looking at where these 40 and up guys, CM Punk, you know, Drew McIntyre, Cody, all these guys. That's my whole. Look at who all the people I just named. What do you think the next crop of wrestlers are going to be? What are they going to do? So we're talking about Braun Breaker, Javon Evans, Obafemi, right? Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams. We're talking about guys like that. What are they going to do? They're going to finally bring Ethan Page and Ricky Saints to SmackDown or Raw. Now, let's just look at that lineup. Does that seem like a superstar lineup to you? Or just the next crop of wrestlers that's coming in? You see potential, but do you see anything happening with those guys that's going to be special? Do you see anything happening with those guys? Look at who they have right now. Look at who they fucked over already. So what confidence does anybody have that the WWE is going to do the right things with these guys? I mean, and with that all being said, for them to have a roster of wrestlers that are being mishandled, mistreated, and nothing special going on, and TNA having no superstars whatsoever, and the most popular guys that they have are guys that's on their way out, and Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy. Who's carrying the TNA banner? At one point, it was Eric Young. But who's carrying that TNA banner? Who's out here uplifting TNA? TNA has to give you something to work with. They haven't been given much of anything. Now, we can sit up here and play stupid, act like we don't see and understand what's really happening. But I tell you what, for TNA, without them being able to get your attention with their own product, they're always going to have that positioning of just being a whole ass company being pimped out by WWE and hoping that something can develop between the partnership that will start to elevate them. You think Triple H and these guys are going to put a bunch of brain power into trying to help this company to become as big as they are? Do you think they're going to try to do it? Do you think that that's their goal? Absolutely not. If that would be the case, Tony Khan, he ain't fucking starting no beef with WWE. If that's the case, they would have, hey, Tony, we love what you guys are doing, man. Great job. Hey, why don't we do some, I like that Forbidden Door concept, man. Let's make something that. No, they would have did that with AEW. Why the fuck do you think they take this little tinker toy company that they once tried to put out of business? Because they're no threat. It's like this fucking martial arts movie I was watching, man. Remember Kid with the Golden Arms? I remember when he spit the wine in his eyes and blinded him, and he was like, why not kill him? He said, why? No need to kill him. He's blind. He's harmless. Exactly. No need to kill him. Even though somebody did kill him after that. But bottom line, that's the whole point. That's the whole point. No. TNA's harmless. They're harmless. TNA is that company, like you got a bunch of soft motherfuckers around you and you stand with your back to them all day because there's nothing about them. That's TNA. TNA is not taken serious. TNA has no momentum. They have nothing going on that you care about. Moose said one of the dumbest things I've ever heard before he wrestled Obafemi. Moose told Obafemi, I've waited. Listen at this shit. This is the fucking ring general, right? Moose told Obafemi, I've been waiting for this match my whole career. That's what Moose told Obafemi. Moose came to TNA. He fought the likes of Bobby Lashley, Brian Cage. I mean, he was, Moose, all these guys. And he tells a guy that's in a fucking developmental fucking company, I waited my whole career for this moment. I've been watching you in NXT and saw what you were doing, and I knew we were destined to cross paths. And I said, damn, like that. I mean, you're not saying this to somebody that's some fucking veteran of the ring, somebody who's been putting work in and winning championships and a major promotion. You're talking about a developmental guy. Someone that's your junior. And your whole career, you've been waiting to fight a fucking rookie. A fucking developmental guy. This is what your whole career led you to. Not even a SmackDown or Raw wrestler, but a fucking NXT guy. And when I heard Moose say that shit, I said, damn, TNA. That one, see, you guys might not pay attention to shit like that. That one comment, I said, Moose just buried himself, man. I mean, TNA actually had an event. They were a part of a AAA event where they had WWE, NXT guys. They had NXT guys over there in AAA, as well as, some TNA guys. And Moose was one of them. This is some months ago. Who's talking about these shows? Who's walking around wearing AAA t-shirts and baseball caps and talking about what AAA got going on? And nothing. WWE don't even promote AAA unless Dominic Mysterio or somebody on their roster is a part of a show that they got going on. If nobody from Raw or SmackDown is on their show, they don't even promote what AAA got going on. But they have acquired them. See, that was a move to where, okay, we have access to these luchadors, and that's one less company that AEW has to work with. But these bitches forgot they got CMLL, so they don't need AAA. And that's the thing. Tony Khan's doors are open to pro wrestling, to entertain these fans, and to basically, want people to get their money's worth and feel satisfied with a product. Yeah, you guys cheer. I remember when I was a kid, and I remember my father was explaining to me what we were reading in Genesis and in the Bible, and the sin and all this bullshit. Now I remember I said to my father, to sum it all up, so why don't God just kill the devil? Why does he kill people that's influenced by the devil but not the influencer? Why does he let him live but punish everybody else? And I remember the bullshit excuse my father gave. It was the same excuse that everybody gives when they believe in some dumb shit. But at the end of the day, I looked at that shit when my father said that, and I look at this shit, and this is exactly how I see. I seen Vince McMahon the same way. I seen Triple the same thing. These motherfuckers are like some backstabbing, ruthless, no moral, will try to do anything to get an edge. But then you have a company come along where they actually give a fuck about their talent and their audience. And yet, all this hate goes towards them. But you know what? That's how shit happens. If Triple H was to fucking literally lose his life tomorrow, if he croaked, had a heart attack and was gone, who's to say that the person that steps up is going to do a better job? And the thing is, every time something happens to the WWE, you guys love to say the state of pro wrestling. No, it's not pro wrestling. It's the WWE. And in fact, you shouldn't even use the term pro wrestling when you reference WWE. You should just say the world of sports entertainment, because any company that's following that bullshit blueprint, just like TNA is doing, they're the ones that's suffering. And the fact is, if you're so concerned about AEW doing 600,000, 500-something thousand, whatever, but not 1 million, then why would you not push and promote and try to help, them to where your audience will tune in to watch pro wrestling? Because you know what? The more wrestling and the better wrestling companies are doing, the better it is for wrestlers and the fans. But you guys are so fucking stupid that you guys already know what WWE's agenda is. Yet, you support them. The crazy thing about all of that is, you guys don't even expect change in WWE. You don't even have confidence that change will happen, but you put all this emotion and energy into watching them just to complain. Yet, none of you motherfuckers are out there really pushing for AEW. So, it's like I come along and play the role of Jane Pittman. Hey, psst, come. Hey, no, Rosa, what's her name? The one that freed the slaves and shit, right? Hey, come on, right? And I'm trying to motherfucking help you guys. And then one of you going, hey, Master, that nigga trying to help all the slaves escape, Master. Master, look right there. All the niggas escape. That's you, motherfuckers. That's y'all. We don't want to be free. We want to be slaves to the machine. We don't want to be free, sir. We want to serve our master. We don't care how bad he beat us. We don't care what he do if he sell our kids and use them as gator bait. If he's screwing our women and raping them and throwing them. We don't care, sir. That's our master. Who is you to try to free us anyway? You's a slave just like, no. That's the whole thing y'all don't get. And I'm gonna keep rubbing it in y'all fucking faces. That's why, and then like I said, Mick Foley said, fuck this. I can't be associated with this shit. But you fools are still checking in. You know, if you say to me, WWE Unreal is the stupidest fucking thing I ever seen, it's garbage. Once you've said those words, why would you watch it again? Just to have something else to complain about in your channel. So now, you're mad at WWE Unreal Raw and SmackDown and NXT. Yet, you guys actually like AEW. Some of you even go say you love AEW, but you don't talk about AEW. And when you do talk about them, you don't talk about them in a way where you're encouraging your audience, hey, watch AEW, check AEW out. AEW was on fire. AEW this. No, everything is, I still got to have some type of allegiance with the WWE. Now, notice who I've been talking about for like the past 15 minutes and no more TNA mentions, because that's how unimportant TNA is. TNA lost its identity a long time ago. And they're not a big enough threat to anybody, to be honest with you, for anybody have to worry about TNA. I tell you what, I watch Maple Leaf Pro, right? I watch CCW. Now, CCW is still in the Tinker Toy side of things as well. I really like Nikki Blackheart. She's the reason I started watching more of CCW. You know, ACW is a solid show. I like watching ACW as well. And, you know, like I said, there's so many promotions, man. I can't watch everything, but I like ACW as well. But, and their crowds be live. But when I look at TNA, they're no threat, man. There's nothing happening in TNA that any company has to worry about. Maple Leaf Pro give you some banging wrestling matches. I don't see a lot of storytelling. They're more like just they wrestle. They straight up wrestle. And they do cut promos and things, but like it's not like the drama, the dramatic stories and all that kind of stuff. I haven't seen any of that in Maple Leaf Pro. But Maple Leaf Pro has a certain energy about it that it's pro wrestling. They're not on the sports entertainment side. It's strictly pro wrestling. For anybody that says that's boring, tell me a story, I don't care about wrestling, then you are just an asshole. And like I always said, my biggest comparison, when you say who gives a fuck about wrestling, I don't watch wrestling for wrestling, I watch wrestling for the story, tell me a story, then watch a fucking soap opera. Because like I always say, that's the equivalent of going to a fucking restaurant, sitting there, get a table, right? Then the waitress comes over and says, okay, you guys ready to order? And you go, oh, I'm not here for the food. I'm just here for the menu. I don't come to a restaurant to eat food, order food and eat it. I just come here for the menu. Who cares about the food? That's the same dumb type of logic. I don't watch wrestling for wrestling. I watch wrestling for the story. Tell me a story. So the story is not supposed to play out in the fucking ring? Like, that shit just makes no sense. And I feel like people like that just complain because they have nothing better to do with their fucking time. And it's worse when your stories aren't interesting and neither is the wrestling. Who the fuck want to watch a show just for a bunch of segments? Backstage fucking segments and interviews and fucking promos. I don't know if the visa issues were solved or not in TNA. And assuming that because of the visa issues, that's why they only had 3 matches last week. Okay. Well, pretty much traditionally, a 2-hour show produces at least 5 matches, no less. WWE is known to give you foursome time. In fact, at their PLEs, they're not even giving you 8 matches anymore. 5. That's what you're supposed to get on Raw and SmackDown. That's what we get on AEW Dynamite and Collision. Pay-per-view, you're supposed to get 8. No less than 8. And in fact, 0 hour in AEW, you get more than that. But you get 2 or 3 matches before the bell starts, at least, and then you get, So yeah, bottom line, AEW want to make sure you get your money's worth. These motherfuckers say, man, fuck them. Give them motherfuckers 5 matches and tell them to shut the fuck up. Now, I tell you what, AEW first on the list when it comes to wrestling. When I get a chance, I check out ECW. I check out Stardom World, CCW. I do check to see what the NWA is doing. I do check to see what JCW got going on. I do check to see what New Japan got going on, and I check to see what CMLL has going on. Okay, I will, Now, I can't always follow all the stories of what's happening. Okay, and one thing about the independents, a lot of times it's not any real stories going on. It's just matches and incidents happening per show, but no real story base. Okay, so I try to watch that. And if I didn't say Maple Leaf Pro, I them as well. But I'm gonna tell you something, man. The fact that so-called pro wrestling fans will sit here and tell you they don't care about wrestling, they only care about a story. This shit is all due to Vince McMahon Jr. Because that motherfucker just, ever since I can remember, the WWE was known for giving you some weird shit. So even when they had good matches, when they had solid matches, they always had some goofy shit going on as well. But the fact that we are in an era of time where you have people talking about they don't care about wrestling. Wrestling is about moments in it. Right. Those very moments that y'all are bitching about now. How do you think you're gonna feel? Once you lose the essence of something, you lose what made your company special or what made you stand out. Once you lose that, you might gain new fans, but you're gonna lose the old fans. And then it's like what could have been 7-8 million watching, it's dwindled down by far because there's no balance to it. It's like, example, if you're 35 fucking years old, right? Now let's just say between 35 and 50. If you show, let's say you and one of your partners are talking, you and your brother sitting there talking, and you say, hey man, I feel like going rollerblade. Hell yeah, damn, let's go rollerblade, man. Let's find a local spot, let's find somewhere. Right? Now you find a spot, you go. Now, between 35 and 50 years old, what would happen if you show up and all of a sudden everybody in that motherfucker skating is like 16, 15? I bet you like, oh hell no. No, you gotta find somewhere else. Because who the fuck? You're grown. Do you want to be there skating with these kids? Same thing, you go play ball, you want to go hoop, and you go to the court, and there's a bunch of kids out there. You want to fucking hoop with these kids? No. So, if you can't find somewhere where people in your age group are there, you know what you do? You just don't fucking rollerblade there. You can't find, well, there's nowhere to really, I don't hoop with these little kids, man. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, you find what, okay, I'm comfortable here. This is our age group. Who the fuck want to be skating around a bunch of kids? Who the fuck want to be playing ball with a bunch of kids? So therefore, it's like when you're looking at what's going on and you just tune it out. When you're watching pro wrestling, and I watch these men and women go in there and grind that shit out and entertain, I applaud that. When I'm watching sports entertainment and I'm watching goofy segments that just mean nothing, and like I said, I don't mind a sense of humor. That's not what it is. I just see a bunch of corny shit, and it's like, see, the format of the WWE is repetitive. Like, be honest with me. You tell me, when Rhea Ripley used to come out looking all intense and serious, and she stomp and do her little fucking entrance move, and she get all hyped up, and you tell me that's not the Rhea Ripley that you miss. As opposed to this one, come out smiling and shit, hugging Io Sky. All of a sudden now, what are you? They're trying to be Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa all of a sudden, right? I mean, is it just a coincidence that an Aussie and a Japanese just happen to be best friends? I'm just saying. I mean, maybe I just happen to see this shit that y'all don't pay attention to. But all of a sudden, Rhea Ripley's some loving, nurturing, always hugging and kissing little Io. But she's always talking about the fucking brutality. What brutality, man? That's like fucking saying, that's like somebody doing a who would win. The Incredible Hulk versus Mickey Mouse. What fucking brutality? There's no brutality no more. That shit's played out. There's no more brutality. This is what I'm telling you guys. Anybody can have a character change. You're not going to always like every character change. But I'm telling you, this company has just everything. They don't care about pro wrestling. Everything. They even just say that we're not pro wrestling, we're sports entertainment. And AEW tell you, plain and simple, we're not sports and entertainment. We are pro wrestling, not sports and entertainment. They tell you that shit. Is there entertainment in what they're doing? Yes. Yes, so it's a form of sports with entertainment, but it's a well-balanced show. They're not focused on the bullshit that you guys are focused on. I'm watching CM Punk and Drew McIntyre wrestle over a fucking bracelet. Roman Reigns wrestling, complaining about a fucking fight over a fucking Ula Fala. And wasn't the winner of that supposed to be the head of the table? What happened to that story? Why did they break up the Usos and all that? And this fucking little fat, out of shape, sloppy army of motherfuckers that they have with Solo Sikoa. Who cares about what they're doing? That shit is so played out, and they still got Jeff Cobb and all them running around doing the same shit with face paint on and all. Who gives a fuck? This stuff is not entertaining, man. Now, once again, see how I talked some more without mentioning little Tinker Toy TNA? I'm telling you guys, these motherfuckers are just not relevant. Not as a powerhouse, as a revolving door. Anybody you bring in here, and we like them, as soon as their contracts are up, we're going to pull them in. Why do we bring people from NXT, from TNA, let them come to NXT and rumble with these guys and then get their asses kicked? It's simple. Because however many people are watching NXT are going to see this person. Now, when they come there, they know who they are already, which also kills the element of surprise. See, this is how stupid the WWE have become. This is why when wrestlers come and pop up unannounced, what does the crowd start chanting? Holy shit, holy, right? Because out of nowhere. There's no element of surprise anymore, because you know who's going where. These motherfuckers are so typical. Then they come up with this show Unreal. They want to show you what's happening behind the scenes and who did what, and who's getting fired and why, and who. This is what this company has become. So don't you dare say that shit is ruining pro wrestling. No, it's ruining WWE. Now, how you can say that as far as ruining pro wrestling is for the people that think where the WWE goes is where professional wrestling goes. Because those are the fucking people that think they're not supposed to watch AEW or anything else. Those are the people that run around thinking that WWE is the begin-all, end-all. So those are the motherfuckers who are too stupid to watch something that they enjoy. Nobody's caring about no fucking TNA, man. And you know the thing about TNA? For you to call your company Total Non-Stop Action, but then you take the sports entertainment route. You take the cheesy ripoff of Raw, imitation of Raw route. Do you ever stop to think about why your audience is still with you? And if you go back and look at all the things that y'all used to do and how y'all did things, I mean, all your pay-per-views, the different match types you had, all the different, theme matches. What happened to all of that? What happened to all of that? And these companies that keep hiring these grown-ass men that look like little boys and shit, these little fucking feminine-ass haircuts and shit, and have nothing masculine about them, nothing that's kick-ass about them, and bring them in and say, he's the future of the business. This guy right here is going to go places. This guy's going to be a superstar. This guy's going to... Tell Javon Evans to stop wearing fucking shirts that say that got the number 6'7" on it. That's shit little kids do. It's a grown-ass man. Grown-ass man. Tell these fucking wrestlers in TNA, hey man, you guys got to find a way to get yourselves over, because creative don't know how to do this shit anymore. What's the title they got? They got a national title or international title, some kind of title. I like the way the belt looked. Nice blue, leather. Last person I saw had that belt was Steve Macklin. I can't tell you the last time I seen Steve Macklin or that belt, or he talks about that belt. I told you, in TNA, they just go handing out title shots to people without any storyline of why. How did this come about? Why are they fighting? Nope, just stick them in the ring and just get a motherfucker a title shot. For what? I don't know. Just because I see him walking down the hallway. TNA, you guys have an uphill battle. You guys are stuck in this position as long as you're attached to WWE. And how WWE can become your demise is because if you actually did start to become big and get to the point where, which I don't see it happening, but let's say if you did get to the point where, let's say if you could surpass WWE in ratings, let's just say, if Triple H or anybody, Nick Khan or any of them said, hey, we was thinking about doing a crossover with SmackDown or Raw, you wouldn't be smart enough to know that they could have did that with you guys right now. And the reasons that they didn't is because, one, they didn't feel like you were big enough to do that, and then two, they don't want you to grow faster than they need you to, because they want to be able to control you. They don't want you to get to the point where you no longer need them. You don't see that shit, TNA. You guys are in that position of where, and I'm going to tell you how that'll be your demise, because I told you already, they will start fucking with your top stars. I told you guys a long time ago when this shit first started, if you guys think they're doing this for TNA, you're fools. They have big interest in Jordan Grace and Joe Hendry. Who were the first two motherfuckers that they started going back and forth? Those two. But look at how they treated both of them. Joe Hendry's a fucking clown. So he comes in there, does a little turnaround and smile, and had his little moment where he came in there and I was in the ring with Randy Orton and got my ass kicked, right? And Jordan Grace basically came over there. They don't even call her the Juggernaut anymore. There's nothing about Jordan Grace that feels special anymore. Body looks all soft now. She's not even muscular like she was. I told you, these people come to WWE and find out the hard way. I know Jordan Grace isn't happy where she is. I know she's not. I know she's not. Remember all those interviews she was doing and how, oh, it's such a blessing, and she, right. Yeah, Jordan Grace isn't happy where she is. Now she comes to SmackDown and instantaneously, her versus Jade Cargill. People, oh, this is what we needed. No, it's not what you fucking needed. You guys are even too dumb to understand. There's no build-up between her and Jade Cargill. It's a simple, what are you doing? This is my show. My show. Jade Cargill had one title defense against B-Fab since she's won that motherfucker. And all Jordynne Grace did in NXT is lose. So she comes to SmackDown just to get pinned by Jade Cargill. Instead of giving her some momentum, let her have some matches, put her in a feud with somebody else. Let her build up that momentum to where the crowd is erupting when Jordynne Grace comes out. There's a demand for Jordynne Grace. Now, let Jade Cargill put some work in. Let things start to happen. Make the storyline where people can see, yep, Jade Cargill and Jordynne going to get into that. See, there's none of that. No, the ratings suck. People are not coming out. The building is half empty. We got to make something happen. I know. Let's bring loser Jordynne Grace to SmackDown and put her in the ring right away in a feud against Jade Cargill. And that's the thing. It's too soon for Jade to lose that belt. And it's too early for Jordynne Grace to come there just to get another loss. So it goes to show you, they don't give a fuck about your body of work and what you did in TNA or any other company. They just want to take you and put their fucking thumbprint all over you. We own you now. You're our property. Who else right now is on that TNA roster that WWE wants to steal? They don't have much to choose from. And they just lost the Rascals to AEW. Yeah. And notice, Trey Miguel said he's taking a break from pro wrestling. He didn't say that, hey, difference of opinions or whatever, and he's going back somewhere else to, back to TNA or to any other company. He said he's taking a break from pro wrestling, period. Jake Doyle is also now in AEW. And you motherfuckers want to keep talking about Powerhouse Hobbs leaving. Talk about Jake Doyle. Talk about the Rascals. Talk about Persephone. Yeah. Talk about all of those people that Tony Khan just put on that fucking roster. And there's two more people. I can't remember the fucking, I know it's one of them luchador motherfuckers, a little bad motherfucker too, but talk about that. No, let's talk about who left. The one motherfucker that left, not the 7 people that just got signed. This is what I'm talking about. What's going on in TNA? Who did they sign that we give a fuck about? What matches is going on right now? What title matches that we just got to see? There's no talk about it. Well, if you guys are interested to watch and see what happens tonight, and then tomorrow it'll be a conversation about how good or how bad it was or whatever. But at the end of the day, this little Tinker Toy company, they're going to always have this uphill battle, as I said, as long as there's an AEW and a WWE. WWE doesn't fear TNA. They control them. They're puppeteering them, okay? But they have a problem with AEW. Yeah. And TNA being bitched around and whored around like that, I'm telling you guys, when this fucking little project ends and there's no more this just stupid NXT and TNA just invading each other's shows, dumb shit every fucking week, you wait and see what happens with TNA. And how when their top stars jump ship and run to AEW, jump ship and run to WWE. Because trust me, WWE is going to try to get their hands on whoever they can. And TNA doesn't have a big enough pay scale to keep these guys. TNA doesn't have enough creativity for people to have any motherfucking confidence in them. And I told you, when your top stars are sitting here on a fucking interview telling people everything we have, or the growth in our company, all that is all thanks to WWE. You think that if these motherfuckers had interest in Moose, they wouldn't have his black ass come over there and work for them? If they had interest in bringing Nick Nemeth back, or any of these fucking guys, They're not going to be loyal to TNA. They're going to go where the fucking money is. And you know that. You have a company full of veterans. And the guys that you don't know is not because they're brand new wrestlers. It's because you just don't know them because they've been on their independence. And they don't have a big name. But these guys been around for a long time. And you're over here losing to these rookies. I'm telling you right now. TNA has a wrestler named Harley Hudson. They're not doing shit with Harley Hudson. They're not doing anything with her. And Danny Luna is in a position where I believe Danny Luna is going to become women's champion at some point. But again, they had to turn her heel just for this to happen. But Danny Luna, once she gets that belt, and especially if she gets that belt and do if Danny Luna is able to do anything impressive to get the WWE's attention, as soon as her contract is up, that's what they're going to go after Danny Luna as well. And I can tell you something, okay? The Knockouts division is weak. Nobody stands out, just like the men. There's nobody there that's like you tune in. Danny Luna and Jordan Grace was like the only two real reasons I was watching TNA for a while. Because TNA Ben fell off to me. Once Jordan Grace left, Danny Luna was still there. And Masha Slamovich she just didn't do it for me, man. And they fucked Masha Slamovich up. She came there, she was talking with a Russian accent. She was, and they all of a sudden they got her talking and smiling and all this shit. And then I don't know what the fuck. They just went the wrong direction. PCO took their belt. He broke it in half. He threw it in the trash. He said, this company don't know what the fuck they're doing. And I'm telling you right now, even Eric Young is very right now. If I know, that think about this. And I'm going to close this video. You love your sons and daughters, right? And as long as you're alive, they will always have a home with you, right? But don't you want to know that your sons and daughters know enough that they can survive without you? So, because you're not going to be here forever. And I know you don't want to be sitting there watching your son or daughter, get buried or be cremated. You don't want to outlive your kids, for sure, right? But you want to know that they're good. You try to do everything you can that you can leave them something when you go and all that kind of shit. But you want to know that they have it up in here, and in here, okay? To make it in this world, right? Because you know you're not going to always be there. And that's exactly the position that TNA is in. That's the position they're in. We're a 20-something-year-old company. Some motherfucker had me cracking the fuck up earlier. This motherfucker said TNA is a work in progress. I'm like, Negro, do you fucking know that these motherfuckers have been around for over 2 fucking decades? You call a company that's been around for over 2 decades a work in progress? That's an indirect way of saying this company is failing. A work in progress. Who would I rather be? An almost 7-year-old company that has a fucking deal on a major networks and a fucking major streaming app and is highly successful, just won 10 fucking awards over everybody, WWE included, and basically is just growing. Or a company that's been around 20 plus years that still can't figure their shit out. I know who I'd rather be. But at the end of the day, yeah, they're a work in progress. The fuck do you mean, man? I mean, is it that hard to just be honest and say, hey, man, they're going through some stages right now, some growing pains, just a lot of changes that got to be made. Yeah, and it's funny because you the same motherfucker that's always talking about, well, 10 things TNA or AEW need to do in 2026. 5 things that, right, I know, because WWE and TNA are just knocking it out the park every week, huh? Right. It's funny to me, man. They're a work in progress. Man, that fucking pathetic ass company, 20 fucking TNA has been around since 2001. Since 2001. This company's 25 fucking years old. And you call these motherfuckers a work in progress. That's what you say about rookies. That's what you say about something that just started. You know, that's developing. It has some great things or good things or whatever, but you know, it needs some work. That's what a work in progress is. A work in progress is not a motherfucking company that's been around 25 fucking years. A fucking work in progress for a 25-year-old company. Are you shitting me? And this is another reason why companies can't grow, man. You know, one thing I said for sure, man. You know, it was like when you were a little kid, when my sons was kids, right? You know how you let them, y'all play basketball, and you pretending you trying to play defense. You're not really playing no defense. And you let them shoot the ball, right? And you let them win. You call them the champion and raise it because you love your kids, right? And you know your kids get to a certain age that they realize you were letting them win. But they realize how much you love them, right? But you teach them because you don't want them to go out and get themselves in bite off more than they can chew, right? Anything. So you want them to understand if you lose, get up and keep going, right? Have fun with what you're doing, understand. Don't be a sore loser. Don't take it so serious. Take it serious enough to be the best that you can be and always give your best, but understand, it's not the end of the world. You're able to compete at least. You got people who handicap, who wish they could go out and play basketball or box or do something, right? Enjoy life. All right? That's what you do. Because you love them and you let them win. How long does TNA need to be babied by the WWE? Huh? How long? Their relationship with the WWE reminds me of that biblical verse, those teachings of how a man that grapes a woman, y'all know what I mean, take off the G, you know what I'm saying. He grapes a woman, then he has to marry her. And the woman doesn't even have any say-so. So you've been graped by this guy, and now he's your husband? These motherfucking WWE tried to put y'all out of business. And now they take y'all under the armpit and they're working with you guys. And you don't understand why. Yeah, of course you do. That's what I mean. They have no backbone. They're full of desperation, man. And what is this going to be, a regular thing now? Let's just send AJ Styles over to TNA in between now and the Royal Rumble after Gunther beat his ass and he retires. What are you going to go there and wrestle against Kazarian? What is AJ Styles going to do? AJ Styles is going to beat Kazarian, and he's going to be the TNA World Champion until he get his ass retired. Is that what's going to happen? Or is he going to get two retirements? He's going to get retired from WWE and then get retired in TNA. What's going to happen? Because you don't have faith in anybody else to carry your company. So you're going to try to use AJ Styles as a ratings boost? So is he going to be TNA champion? I mean, because I saw him staring at Kazarian, staring at the belt on his shoulder. Or is Kazarian going to put the nail in AJ's coffin, huh? Well, he can't. You know why Kazarian can't do it? Because Mike Santana now has the belt. So you're going to have AJ lose to Gunther and then beat Mike Santana? Or you're going to have Mike Santana beat him, put the nail in his coffin, and then elevate Mike Santana? And what's going to happen after that? You're going to let Mike Santana lose the belt 2 weeks later, some dumb shit like that? I wanted to close this video a while ago, but you know, the thoughts are just coming, man. It's real. But I'm going to close it now. Just want to say this in closing. To remind you, as long as there's an AEW and a WWE, TNA is going to always have an uphill battle. Real simple. And truth is, if NWA, if JCW, anybody else, if these guys are paying attention to what's being said, what's going on, and they smarten up and structure their shows better, any one of those shows can replace them as number 3. Any one of those shows have the ability to get more attention. And to be honest with you, especially the NWA, because at least them being on Roku, if they would step their shit up and their shows start to make sense, and people start to talk more about them, like, hey man, NWA is stepping it up, right? And people now, word of mouth gets out, words, and then all of a sudden, guess what everybody's talking about? NWA. And you know what ends up happening? Hey man, NWA has had a nice little spark on Roku. People are watching, and more people are, right? I'm telling you, that's because when you are writing bad material, and on top of that, the matches aren't good, it's very hard for people to get into what you're doing. JCW, to me, I look at that show and I look at NWA. I feel like JCW, in my opinion, I can say I like JCW shows more than I like NWA shows. But JCW, both of those shows need some structure. They need more work. NWA just need to start making fucking sense, for one, man. Like, I just don't understand, like, their format. They'll have all these ad-style promos and little segments that have absolutely nothing with the matches. It just, like, it has nothing to do with the matches. And it's like, all right, what is all this extra shit for? It just makes no sense. Both of those shows need more structure. TNA needs structure. TNA has no fucking structure. And honestly, the only advantage that they have is the fact that they're leaning on WWE. That's it. And I know this JCW has been promoting NWA promo ads on their show. So maybe they're going to start working together. I don't know. But either way, I love the Forbidden Door concept, but all this constant invasion shit back and forth, that shit's corny as fuck. And hopefully for JCW and NWA, that's not what they end up doing. Because that shit is complete, it's just trash, man. And we don't need to keep seeing the same thing happen. Everything becomes trendy. Oh, this company's doing it, so we're going to do it. Then we're going to do it. Then, okay. Yeah, that's not the Forbidden Door concept. That's just overkill. And who really gives a shit? Who really gives a shit? All these matches, these meaningless matches. All these fucking matches that get you nowhere. That's all I got for you guys, man. I'll be back here tomorrow, be back here Saturday, and we'll talk about what happens. I'm not going to watch the show tonight. I'll probably just look at the highlights of what happened or something, whatever, later, because I'm not going to do another video tonight. And we'll see how things go. But I'm definitely, I'll probably do a video tomorrow about this Dynamite that we just had, because I watched it and I had to go back and forth in the house doing something, and I got Max, so of course I'm watching it. So I'm about to go in the house and watch it right now, so therefore I can talk about AEW Dynamite tomorrow. In the meantime, y'all, everybody be safe, stay the fuck warm out there, and I will catch you guys on the next video.